Cozy books are the best. I love cozy books. Hello my loves, and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten and we're at the start of another new cozy releases video. I am so excited to be starting this one. I love this series that I'm doing. If you haven't seen the other two, I will link it below, but basically what happens is I read 3 new cozy releases, put it all together in a video for you, and that's what we have. So this time it's 3 new cozy releases that have been published in September. Now if you saw my reset video for September, you would actually know what 3 books they are. However, I am making a change. So originally the physical book was going to be We Solve Murders by Richard Osman. However, after reading the synopsis and then reading the first 2 chapters of this book, it's not a cozy book. I can say that wholeheartedly. Do I think this is going to be a fun crime mystery book? Yes. Do I think it's going to be humorous? Yes. Is it technically cozy? No, I just don't think it is. Like, I do think his other series, The Thursday Murder Club, is a cozy mystery. I know there's some debate on whether it's actually a true cozy murder mystery. To me, it is. So originally when this book was being published, I was very excited to do it for this video because I was like, oh, it's going to be another cozy murder mystery. As much as I do think I'm going to get those cozy vibes of being able to snuggle up with this book with a hot drink, a blanket, and just have a really nice, comforting time, from the first couple of chapters of this book, it is not giving actual cozy vibes. So yeah, unfortunately I'm not going to read it for this video. I will be reading it soon. I think because September's pretty jam-packed with all the books I need to read, I'm probably going to move this to November, hopefully try and get on my November TBR. So I really want to read this one soon. I enjoyed those first 2 chapters that I read. We've already got a bit of a humorous tone, but I'm not going to get too into it because I'm not reading it for this video, which I did contemplate still reading it for this video, and I was going to, until today I went book shopping after work and I stumbled across this book. And this book was published on the same day as Richard Osman's book, which was the 12th of September, and this is a cozy, and I'm so excited. So this is The Little Coffee Shop of Terrors by Hazel Grave, and this one I've not heard anything about, and I did a little bit of research while I was in the bookshop because it looked very cozy. I wanted to see when it was published. I also wanted to see a couple of early reviews on it, and so far there's only been 32 reviews on this book. All the reviews were saying it's a cozy, it's a good cozy time. So we are going to be having this one as the physical book, and I feel a lot happy with that for this cozy vlog. So this one, we are following Adele, and Adele was used to being down on her luck. She's just failed her last musical theatre audition, and now it looks like the bright lights of Broadway are behind her for good. So when the opportunity comes up to take over a Brooklyn coffee shop, things finally seem to be going her way. The only issue is the coffee shop comes with strings attached in the form of one very grumpy but roasting hot barista. Ben's worked there for years, and he's not about to move on just because there's a new owner in town. But soon it's not only Ben who's smouldering, because strange things are happening with the old coffee roasting machine in the basement, with roaring flames and weird noises that seem to come from nowhere. She'd asked Ben for help if she could, but he never seems to be around when there's a problem to fix. And to add to it all, now some of the regular customers are nowhere to be seen. Trouble is brewing for Adele, and before she knows it, she's in a whole latte of trouble. It sounds so good! I'm really excited for it. So it seems like we've got a bit of a paranormal mystery romance thing going on. Very excited to read this. Love the cover. That is going to be the book for, well, the physical book for this cozy new releases video, but we do have 2 more. They aren't out just yet. One is coming out very soon, and that is Rewitched by Lucy Jane Wood. That's coming out on the 19th of September. This one I think I'm going to be getting an ebook version of, and this is all about this witch who is, I think she's turning 30. She's feeling kind of not great about where her life is. She doesn't feel fully like a witch from what I remember of the synopsis, and somehow she gets rewitched and coming into herself. I think it's going to be a really nice, warm-hearted story. And then the last book is out on the 24th of September, and it's The Village Library Demon Hunting Society by C.M. Wagner, and I can't decide whether I'm going to get this physically or not, because I think it's going to be really fun, and I would love to add to my cozy shelf here here. As you can see, we've got loads of shelf space, and I am building this shelf for just cozy books. So I might end up getting this one physically, I'm not sure. And this one, again, I don't know too much about it apart from the fact that we have a librarian that is hunting demons and nobody messes with librarians. It sounds like it's going to be really, really fun. So those are the 3 books I'm reading for this week. I hope you, well, not this week, this video. This video is going to be basically a month-long video, or at least like 2-3 weeks long video, but I hope you enjoy it. And you'll have to let me know if you've heard of any of these books. I'm very excited. I'm going to do what I did in the last video, where once I've read all of these, I'm going to rank them in what was my favorite to least favorite book for this vlog, and I'm just having such a fun time with these cozy reads. So I am gonna try and get this one read today. I am in the middle of my light academia reading week, so I've got to read about 100 pages a day for that. So hopefully if I can get my 100 pages read for that quick enough today, then I might be able to start this book. But I'm so excited for it. It doesn't seem like it's going to be that long a read. It's less than 400 pages, and I think because of what it is, it's going to be quite a quick book to read. I'm very excited about it. So yeah, right. Well, I hope you don't mind the quick swap out there on the books, but let's get straight into this cozy reading vlog. Loving the Little Coffee Shop of Terrors. This is so much fun. So disclaimer, the writing, you know, it's not the best. I will say that. It's not like it's really lyrical or beautiful, but this is so much fun for pure entertainment. I'm enjoying it so much. So I am up to page 156, the creme de la creme. I do like the fact that each title is a little pun, but I'm just really enjoying this book. I'm really liking Adele. So Adele is kind of the only perspective we get in this book, and as we know, Adele was trying to make it as a Broadway star, wasn't really getting anywhere, had dedicated so much of her life to trying to make it on Broadway, and then she gets this call out of nowhere telling her that she's inherited this coffee shop and an apartment, and she's like, you know what, maybe this is just the change that I need. She goes for it, and I love it. It's just so much fun. Like, Adele as a person is a great person. She's really nice and lovely. She feels a little bit lost in life, but that's kind of why this coffee shop just works, because you know this coffee shop is going to end up being the place where she just needs to be. And, you know, this kind of found family that comes along with it, with all these other people that were regulars at this coffee shop, and they're all slightly eccentric. It's like their hippie grandparents. It's really fun. Adele herself, as we know, is very very, very musical. The way she sees things and remembers things is all very artistically inclined, and she's constantly referring things back to a different musical, which I really like. It's really fun. We then have her kind of like hots for the barista, Ben. He is an Australian, a very good looking Australian, and yeah, she's like, no, I can't because workplace romances are a no-go, but oh, do I want to. Like, it's so much fun. I like seeing their banter with one another, but things are a little bit odd at this coffee shop. The roaster itself is down in the basement, and Ben is very protective of it. Will not let anyone go down in that basement unless he personally invites them. And things are, you know, just a little bit weird. There's weird shakes and tremors in this coffee shop. There's randomly weird smells of barbecuing that are just a little bit like, what's going on down there, you know? I'm really enjoying it. I have a theory, and I feel like it's linked back to a little tidbit that we got where everything is kind of linking up together. I don't mind if this ends up being very much that, and it kind of being predictable in that way, because I'm just enjoying it for the fun. I really like the vibes of this book. I like the interactions with the different characters. I even like the fact that we've got kind of a douchebag that's trying to kind of weasel in and steer Adele into how to run this coffee shop and make it more corporate, which I don't really like him, and Adele's not very good at standing up and saying no, so she's kind of swept along with things, but it's very entertaining, the different scenarios that they're getting into as a result. We also do have our little cat, which so sweet, absolutely love it. But just think about this coffee shop, it's very eclectic. There's plants everywhere, there's artwork everywhere from the locals. You have goat yoga down the road, which is a bit odd, but fair enough. You just have this beautiful place, and it's so much fun, and the community is great, and I love it. It feels like really kind of cozy little place slice within this bigger city, and it really works. I'm really enjoying this. It is so entertaining. I constantly find myself picking this back up. It's so easy to read, so quick to read as well. So yeah, I'm very, very happy with this. I'm so pleased for such a random purchase. I had heard nothing about this. I'm very pleased with it. Okay, and then I did go get my nails done the other day, and while I was there, I started Rewitched by Lucy Jane Wood, who is also a YouTuber. She has some really nice, cute, cozy lifestyle videos, as well as some of like the reading updates, what she's been writing and how the publication process is going and stuff, so do check her out. Currently I'm in the middle of a chapter because that's just kind of when my nails stopped. I'm up to page 50, chapter 3, and I'm really enjoying this so far. I think it's really lovely. It's very much a cozy story about Belle. Is turning 30, like literally just about to turn 30 in the book, and she feels kind of lost in a way, but also loves where she is, if that makes sense. So she works in this beautiful bookstore, and she has been offered to just buy the bookstore, just have the bookstore, because she's the manager of the bookstore. The owner doesn't really want it anymore, wants to just retire and chill and everything, but Belle doesn't think that she's got the right capabilities to actually run it. She doesn't want to be responsible, because what if it all goes to ground? What if she just can't make it work? Instead, the owner's, I think it's like nephew, has come in to take over this bookshop, and oh my god, is he ruining it. He's ruined it so much. He's taken away all the beautiful things about this independent bookstore and is turning it into more of a corporate bookstore. You can kind of actually see the connections between what's happening with this beautiful little coffee shop and also what's happening with this beautiful little bookstore. And you know, they're constantly arguing, but he's just like, look, I'm the one that owns this place, you do as I say. He's making them work extra hours, he's cutting back on staff, he's trying to make it more efficiently run, but at the same time stripping away everything that makes this bookstore unique. And Belle's so fed up with it, but at the same time she feels like she can't walk away from this bookstore. But then out of the blue she gets approached by another witch, well, wizard, Wiccan, the magical community, and she finds out that she actually has a trial that she has to go through. Because the way it works in this world is when you turn 15, you are given your magical potential, and then you have 15 years to explore your magic, use it, just see what you want to do with it, and then once you turn 30, you're assessed to see if you should be allowed to keep your magic. And this gets Belle super stressed out. She's always focused on kind of fitting in, really, rather than being that little bit different and eccentric. And I feel like this book, the way it's gonna go, is just about finding yourself. And I do think the way it should be, you know, I think it's very easy to get lost in trying to fit into things to then lose yourself in the process. And I think it's going to be lovely to see Belle come back into herself and her witchiness and what makes her her. So I love that. I'm looking forward to it. The writing is really lovely and comforting. Just everything about it feels very, very cozy. So very much enjoying the books so far for this video. They're both really cozy. We've got one that feels more like a hot drink and a warm blanket on a cold day. And this one is just really fun and entertaining, but it's a great mix. So I'm really enjoying this. I will check back in when I have read some more of these. I'm loving it. I'm having such a good time. I love these cozy new releases vlogs. It's just so much fun. They're so good. They're such fun, cute, cozy books to have on the go. So yeah. Okay, I've waffled on quite a lot. I actually have quite a bit I need to do with my day. So I'm going to get on with all of that and we'll check back in soon. I finished The Little Coffee Shop of Terrors and this was so much fun, so ridiculous, very predictable. It did go where I thought it was gonna go, but I don't really mind about that. And oh my gosh, the ending was so bittersweet as well, like, oh, heartbreak, but really fun. Honestly, really, really entertaining. It very much is a really ridiculous, cozy, silly time, but it was fun and entertaining because of it. Like, if I was to say what happens in this book, it's honestly the most ridiculous thing that you could possibly come up with, but it's very, very funny and entertaining because of that. So yeah, I'm gonna say this was a win. I really liked it. I'm very pleased that this was just a random find in the little bookshop by my house. It was really good. Like, I just had so much fun with this, and you know what, some parts of it are so unbelievable, and some of the way that Adele acts and reacts to things, also very ridiculous, really unbelievable, but it's also charming because of it. Like, I enjoyed it because it was so silly, and it just really was a very weirdly cutesy, charming, silly little time. And yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was really good. I just think a lot of people would probably pick up this book and go, that was absolutely bonkers, and it is, but it's also really funny. So yeah, I really liked this. This was really, really silly. I'm saying that word a lot because that's what this book is. It's just, I can't even go into too much about it because yeah, I think you just kind of need to experience it for yourselves, that kind of silliness of what happened in that book. It was very, very fun. So very happy with that. Really enjoyed it. Would be one that I would recommend, especially for like this time of year because of all the hot drinks, just like the things that happen. I think it's a good book for like this time of year, especially transitioning into October. I think is a great time to be reading it. Maybe at the start of October, end of September time. Really good time to pick this one up, especially if you just want something that is just, yeah, mad. Absolutely mad. Like, is it going to be a new favorite book? No, I don't think it would. I don't think anyone would really feel that way. That's probably a bit presumptuous. But would it be one that is a very fun, entertaining time? Yes. So yeah, I would recommend this one if you just need something that is just so weird but funny, and yeah, it's good. I don't know if any of that made sense, but it was good. I have read more of Rewitched. I am up to, I think I'm a bit further than this actually. Yeah, so I'm up to chapter 17, page 206. I'm exactly halfway through this book. And I have to say, I like it, but I'm struggling to read lots of it at one time. So I'm finding that I can read a couple of chapters, but then I'm wanting to put it down and read something different or just do something different rather than reading big chunks of this at a time. And it's not because it's bad. bad, because it's not. It's very, very wholesome, really following Belle as she's trying to find herself, and you see the different things that she's had to deal with as she's been growing up. That struggle of trying to find yourself, of trying to fit yourself in around others, and trying to like not lose yourself because of other people's expectations, the way she's had to deal with that, and how she has come out to a better side, but maybe at the detriment to her magic, and the way she's viewed her magic. And it's time to really grasp that part of herself back as well. So it's good because you're seeing her at a time when she's made a lot of progress. She's no longer with someone that makes her feel really bad and really small and belittles the things that she likes, which is amazing progress. But she's also not at that point where she's fully embraced everything about who she is, quirks and all. Still kind of felt a bit ashamed about her magic, whereas now we're starting to see her embrace that side of her magic. Now that she's faced with the possibility of losing it, she's like, no, I don't want to. And that realization that actually maybe it's time to make some changes. Maybe it's time that, yes, admit I've come far, but there are still more changes and more things that I can do, and really just accept myself and no longer try and put it all away in a box, which I do like. I like the message of this story. It's very nice, very heartwarming. Also, just the magical bits of it is very like lovely and whimsical, and I do enjoy it. But I also feel like it's a little bit slow and a little bit drawn out. So I feel like this book is a bit too long. That's probably my only complaint, because I like the message it's saying, I like the world building, I just find it a little bit drawn out, and some of the messages are maybe a little bit more blunt than what I would like it to. I would like us to go on that path of discovery with our character rather than it just kind of being said at us. But again, it's not bad. Like, I do like it. I think for a cozy, warm-hearted book, this is very good. I think I'm just finding it just a little bit slow. I think I just need to keep breaking it up and mixing it with other things. But it is nice. Like, it is a good book with a really nice, poignant meaning behind it about accepting yourself and learning to embrace all of yourself, which is a lovely message to be sending. So I do like it. Maybe I think from this point where we are in the book, I feel like the pacing's going to go up a little bit more. We're going to be seeing more of the magic. We're going to be seeing things. So I think it was probably just that it's a very slow start. Like, I'm halfway through, and I do feel like the start of this book could have been either a bit shorter or a bit pacier or something, just so that it moved along that little bit more to where we are. I feel like it's taken a long time to get to this point, which I feel like it shouldn't have, if that makes sense. But it is still very good. So I would still recommend this one. It's just a little bit slow, I think, a little bit slow paced. But we are going to be moving on to the third book. So I'm still going to keep reading Rewitched, but I'm also going to be picking up the third book for this vlog because it did get published a few days ago, and that is The Village Library Demon Hunting Society, and I'm so excited for this one. So it was great actually, because my local bookshop, they didn't have it in stock, but they were able to order it. So I ordered it and they got it in the very next day. So I went to collect it yesterday, and they liked the look of this so much that they've actually ordered extras to have in store, which I was so happy. I was like, oh, yay. I'm so happy with that. Like, being able to influence a bookshop to actually have a book that you're excited to read and have it available for other people to go out and buy. I feel like that is a win. I am very, very happy with that. This one I'm really, really excited for. I love this cover. I think it's amazing. And on the back, it literally says, "It will be a lesson for murderers and demons alike. Never mess with a librarian." I think this is going to be a fantastic book, very entertaining. So in this one, we're following Sherry. Sherry Pinkwhistle has a knack for solving murders, lots of them. Sometimes she's concerned by just how many killers she's had to track down in her quiet village, though none of her neighbours seem surprised by the rise in body count. But when someone close to Sherry ends up dead and her cat becomes unexpectedly possessed by an ancient demon, as irritating as it is infernal, Sherry decides that it's time for action. It sounds really fun. I'm very intrigued. I think this is going to be a lot of fun to read. So yeah, I'm going to start this one. We're going to continue with Rewitched and go from there. But yeah, I mean, I'm loving this video so far. I think these picks are great for that transition in time into October. So I'm really, really happy with them. It's just a shame I'm finding Rewitched a little bit slow. Still liking everything about, like, the message is good, the writing style is nice. It's just slow. That I think I'm taking my time with, having to read it a bit slower as a result. But I do think the second half of the book will be a bit more pacier and kind of worth it. That's where we're up to. I'm going to get cracking on these. I will update you when I have made some progress in this one. And yeah, go from there. Cozy books are the best. I love cozy books. I have finished, rewitched and started the Village Library Demon Hunting Society, and I'm loving this book. But first of all, let's talk about rewitched. So I was right, it did pick up a little bit towards the end of the book, which I enjoyed. Overall, the things that I really enjoyed about this book is the friendship between Ariadne and Belle. They're best friends, they live together, their friendship is honestly absolutely lovely. I loved their banter. We did have a little bit of conflict. It all kind of made sense, and I just really liked the way that all worked. You do have a bit of a romance in it. It's a bit of a slow burn build up, but again, I liked that. I thought that was really well done. I enjoyed the witchy aspects of this book, the way that Belle was exploring her magic. There was also kind of like a deeper well, it wasn't even a subplot, but like the plot got a bit more complex and I liked what it was adding to it. It was predictable to me. I actually find that a lot, is that plot lines can be quite predictable for me. However, you would think that would be really helpful in a murder mystery, and yet somehow in a murder mystery I can never really solve it. But like a plot line of like fantasy and stuff, I kind of found the twists and turns that were happening, I did find predictable. Some of it I didn't know, but the main kind of like who was behind it, I guessed 50% of that. So I'm quite happy with that. And I liked just like how Belle grew as a character. I thought that was really good. How she kind of made the decision to stop being so scared of things and to just go for it, which was really nice to see. The downside for me is that I do feel like the start of this book was quite slow, and I do feel that the kind of like self-help parts of this book were a little bit heavy-handed for my particular taste. Now, do take that with a pinch of salt. I think this book would be absolutely amazing if I was in the right mindset for it, but I wasn't. I'm having a lot more fun with like the more playful, enjoyable, slightly ridiculous books. And while this book, I think the messages in it were really warm-hearted, very comforting, very good to have, it was just a little bit heavily done for my personal preference. But I do think if I had read this when I was a little bit low or feeling a bit sad, then I think I would have actually really appreciated those moments. But I still think I would have found it a little bit heavy-handed. But that's just a personal preference thing. That's not actually anything against the book in any way. I just think the book itself was a very cozy, magical book. So I liked that. We had like the learning aspects of magic. We had the different things like, so the aspect of what this book was doing, it achieved very well. So I can't really fault it for that. It's just, yeah, like I say, it was a little bit slow for my personal taste, a little bit too much on the self-help side of things, but the message it was sending I think was good, and it did work as a cozy fantasy book. So I can see a lot of people really enjoying this one. That means out of the two we need to rank, I should have got the coffee shop one. Never mind. But I do think I am going to put the Little Coffee Shop of Terrors just above Rewitched in terms of my ranking at the moment, just because the Little Coffee Shop of Terrors I had a lot more fun with. It was just such a silly, ridiculous time. And while if we look into coziness, I do think Rewitched probably has a little bit more coziness to it. But in terms of what one I enjoyed more, what one I had the more fun with reading, that would have to go to the Little Coffee Shop of Terrors. So unfortunately, Rewitched is at the bottom at the moment, but I have started the Village Library Demon Hunting Society, and I'm enjoying this book so freaking much. So I'm up to chapter 7, page 78, and I love what's happening in here. Before I forget though, I just want to talk about the fact that Sherry's our main character, and Sherry does suffer with insomnia every so often, but she found that if she sits down and reads a few pages of Leo Tolstoy's work, specifically Anna Karenina and those parts where we're getting a lot about the agriculture side of things, if you know, you know, she's like, 2 pages of that puts me straight to sleep. And honestly, I was like, same. Same, because when I was reading Anna Karenina, those were the parts I really had to struggle through because it was so dense. And there's also been a few things in here where I'm like, oh, that relates back to Macbeth, or this bit goes to like the Agatha Christie books and stuff. So I'm really enjoying picking up on all of those connections. But let's talk about this book, what it's actually about, rather than just those little bits. But I don't want to forget mentioning them. So we are following Sherry, and Sherry, well, she is a librarian. She is an amazing person. I really like her. Her surname is Pink Whistle, which is just great. But Sherry is kind of the village's resident sleuth. She is called upon quite a lot. Well, not called upon, but kind of reluctantly allowed to investigate murders that happen because she's very good at solving them. So she kind of sees herself as like a Miss Marple figure, which is something that she actually says, which is great. I started off loving this book because we have a murder that's happened and Sherry's got to go out and investigate it all. But then things are seeming a little bit unusual because you're picking up on things. You're picking up on the fact that there's been a lot of murders in a very short amount of time. And every time Sherry goes to think about it, her thoughts will just suddenly stop. And they'll just stop thinking about that and go to something else. And like, it's completely normal that we've had this many murders. It's absolutely fine. It's also completely normal that Sherry, who says herself that she's not particularly smart, who just reads a lot of murder mysteries, somehow manages to solve all of these mysteries before the police every single time. And there is always convenient coincidence that enables her to do this. It's a bit sus. And now towards the end of this chapter, the one that I just read, chapter 6, it's like, oh, I see. This is getting very creepy, and maybe, just maybe, there is something behind it all, and maybe, my theory is, maybe it lives in the library. I'm really intrigued. I think it's going to be so interesting as it goes on, but so far I'm just really enjoying this. It is giving me the feels of like an Agatha Christie book, which I have to say the Miss Marple ones, I've only read one Hercule Poirot, so I'm going to say the Miss Marple ones, but it kind of does give me those feels because you've got that little sleepy village setting. We've had a murder. I mean, don't get me wrong, the book is not based on the murder that we get at the start of this. You know, you're having this sleepy village, you're having murders, Sherry's getting involved, she's an elderly lady. Well, I say elderly, she's an older lady, and she works at this library. So honestly, the cozy mystery vibes are there perfectly, but this is going to expand, and that's where the demon hunting is going to come in, I think. I'm very excited for it. Honestly, I think it's great. Thankfully, everything I've said is what you get on the back of this as well, because it literally does say that Sherry Pinkwhistle has a knack for solving murders, lots of them, and that she's sometimes concerned, but that none of her neighbors seem surprised by the rise in body count. And so it's like all of this, where I'm up to, that has been on the back. And it's from here where we're going to be expanding more past the synopsis, which I then won't be going into talking too much about it because I don't want to spoil this. But I'm having a fantastic time. I'm so pleased I decided to pick this one up physically, because I know if I'd got the Kindle edition, I'd be going out to buy it physically anyway. So yeah, I'm really, really, really enjoying this so far. So I am very excited. I need to read some of my physical book from my current reading vlog, which is the twisted ones, and then I'm gonna go on to reading this evening. I really want to read some more of this because I'm enjoying it so much. Honestly, I know I keep saying it, but these cozy reading vlogs, I'm having the best time. I'm genuinely having the best time. I'm also thinking maybe every like quarter we should go through and rank the cozies that I have read and put them in order from my favorite to my least favorite. I think that would be a fun little thing to do just once a quarter. I am thinking about my channel in general at the minute and things I want to change, things I want to keep the same going into the new year. So we might see a few things come and go. Discord's had the heads up on a little bit of that, but yeah, it's good. The other thing I just want to briefly mention is I did do a little bit of b-roll of setting up a recipe journal, which is something I have thought about doing for absolutely ages, and I like how this turned out. I'm quite pleased with just like the title page of recipes, and then the first bit I wanted to do was baking, because this is probably going to be my biggest bit where I do like cakes. I did try bread once. I definitely want to revisit that. I do want to try like cookies and muffins and all sorts of different things. So I know that this baking bit is probably going to be the biggest. So I decided to start off with that. There are lots of things, like I feel like I want to fill up this space a little bit more and actually do something with it. But I did like how I was putting in just like some of the things that are gonna get made and stuff. So I like it. This is something that will be added to over time, I think, is the way I'm doing that. And then I definitely want to have a soup section and things like that. So this is something that I'm really pleased I finally did. I just had these journals lying around because every so often I would just do a bulk order from Notebook Therapy. I still had this one not being used for anything. Decided to do it, and it's got little mushrooms on the front, which, you know, it works. So yes, very, very happy with that. But okay, I will probably just check back in when I've actually finished this book, and then we'll do the final ranking of all the books and go from there. But oh, this is really good. I'm having such a fun time. This is a really good book. I'm really, really enjoying this. I like this a lot. And there's just like lots of different things going on, and I do wonder what's actually going to happen. Do I think I'm going to get it right? No. I think this is going to be one that I don't guess plot-wise what's going on. I feel like I know some things, but overall, like who's behind it all, what's actually happening, I don't think I'm going to guess. Not like The Little Coffee Shop of Terrors, where it was really obvious what was happening in that one, but just so much fun, so ridiculous. So outlandish. That book was outlandish. That is the word for that book. But right, okay, I am gonna stop talking now. I do just want to do a hot drink, chill out, and get to reading, and just, yeah, enjoy my afternoon before I'm at work bright and early tomorrow morning. It has been a little while actually, but I have just rearranged my shelves. Like literally I sat down to do this update, and then I looked at my shelves and I was like, you know what, this one is always in shadow, and considering that these are all my cozy books, so like we've got cozy murder mysteries going into like cozy thrillery stuff up here and like more mysteries and stuff. And then down here we've got like cozy fantasy and sci-fi and things like that. So I'm like, I really want those to be on show, you know, being able to get the spotlight. Over here they're always in the shade. So now I've got my contemporary and general books that I'm not sure on the genre until I've read them, or just like contemporary / romance books that don't really fit with the cozy. It's just kind of here, it's kind of like a weird hodgepodge shelf. It's only half a shelf, barely that. I honestly think this shelf will become a cozy shelf as the collection extends, because it is my honestly most read subgenre within every single genre. So I'm loving it, and I do want to keep all of my cozy books together now. I think what will happen is as I get more and I fill up this shelf, we'll start having a bit more of a structured cozy fantasy, cozy sci-fi, cozy whatever. All of that to say, it's been a little while since I've updated, but I literally just finished, so probably about 15 minutes ago, finished The Village Library Demon Hunting Society, and I really enjoyed this book. It was so much fun. It is a murder mystery, but with a paranormal overarching plot, if that makes sense. It has potential actually from where it left off to have a second book following a different mystery, but it's a bit almost like The Stranger Times in that we have this overall paranormal thing happening but with an individual mystery. It kind of reminds me a bit like that. Now they're very different books. This one is very sarcastic, very hilarious and things like that. Definitely not a cozy book technically, but it is a book that I find cozy to read. This is cozy with a capital C. Everything about it is cozy. Obviously we've got our librarian Sherry, and she is such a wonderful person. She is read very diversely. I love all of those connections to different literature in this, but Agatha Christie is the big one in this, and as I already said, Sherry does see herself as a Miss Marple figure. Even the way she starts solving the mystery towards the end, it has a very Poirot ending, you know, where they get everyone in the room together to go through, it could have been you, and these are all the reasons why. But it was not. It could have been you, and these are the reasons why. But it was not. It had a very Hercule Poirot ending, which honestly was just fun. Like, did I find it a bit eye-rolly? Yes. But it was really fun, and it was such a classic callback, and it was just so entertaining. I really enjoyed this, and I'm very, very intrigued to see if there will be a second book following that potential mystery that we got right at the end of this. Like, that would be amazing. But yeah, very happy with this. I thought it was really good. I really liked the mystery. It was a very complex mystery. Like, it seemed like it would be a simple mystery, but actually once you were getting everything explained and all the elements and everything, it really did all go together, and I found that really, really interesting. I liked it. Did I guess who had done it? No. I feel like, yes, I had an inkling, but then I kind of disregarded it, and then when it went on, no. Now, I didn't treat this as an actual murder mystery. Normally with my murder mysteries, I would be tabbing this to show suspects and suspicions and evidence and things like this, but because it had another element to this, it didn't feel like just a cozy murder mystery that's wrapped up in this. This does have that extra paranormal demon element to this story, which was kind of adding to the plot line of things that were going on. I feel like I definitely still could have tabbed those moments with the murder mystery part. By that point, I was far enough into it that I'm like, I don't want to go back into this and go from the start again, because as I said at the start, you do get a mini mystery that Sherry solves very quickly, and then you start getting all those question marks of what's actually going on in this town, and then you get the other murder mystery which Sherry still has to solve, even though she doesn't want to. I just really liked this book. I thought it was such a fun, entertaining time, and like I say, it definitely fits the bill for a cozy book. It worked really, really well. I'm very, very happy with this book. Honestly, I can't say too much about it because that would just be giving away spoilers, but I can just say that Sherry herself is a really good character. I enjoyed all the other characters that we got to meet and their interactions with one another. I enjoyed learning all the different things about the characters that linked them back to this mystery that was going on. And I also liked how Sherry did get a group of like 3 other people with her to combat this demon. So they were like the only ones that really knew what was going on, and one of them was very skeptical and the other two were all there for it, and I really enjoyed that. It was kind of, in a way, a bit found family, but not fully. It was more just like, we have a good strong group of friends behind you, and just in general in this town there was a lot of friendships and things which I really liked. There is quite a few different mysteries going on. So you have the murder mystery that Sherry has to solve, whether she likes it or not. You have the demon mystery and what's going on in this town that the demon is running. And then you also have a bit of a mystery around Sherry's background. So there's quite a few different things going on in this, but I found it very entertaining, and it was just such an easy read, but it was engrossing the whole way through. And by the end of this, it actually neatly wrapped it all up really well, which I really like. I actually don't have a negative thing to say about this book. I'm sure like there must be like little things, and I'm sure somebody else could pick this up and probably go, oh, what are you going on about? I don't know. For me, this worked really well. This is what I expect from a cozy book, and for me it delivered on all of those points, so I'm very happy with it. I thought it was fantastic. So when it comes to the ranking of this cozy vlog with these 3 new cozy releases, I think it's easy to say that this one is at the top. It is my favorite book that I've read for this cozy releases video. I really enjoyed it. I would really recommend giving this one a try. It was just very entertaining. I do think if you like Agatha Christie, but you also want a bit more to it, it would be fun. I think Sherry herself is a really good character and very much is a Miss Marple figure, and I liked the fact there was just so much that I really can't talk about, but it was so well done. And when the things were happening, I was like, oh yeah, wait a minute, why didn't we ever think about that? Why was this never a thing that I thought about? There are all these little things that are wrong in this town that suddenly start putting things together, and maybe a different person will come in and read it and be like, well, yeah, of course that was the case. That should have been a question from the very start, not like 3/4 of the way through the book. But I don't know, again, I can't get into it because of spoilers, but it just worked for me really well. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, very pleased with this. It's also set in winter time, so if you want to read it during like the colder months and stuff, or like if you prefer reading books in the season that they're set in, it is set in a cold wintry time, which actually worked because the last few days here have been really cold and windy and rainy, and while in this book we have a snowstorm, well, not a full storm, but like it's just a very snowy blizzardy night that happens. It's a good book, I think, if you want to read it around this time in the colder months and stuff. It worked. Really happy with this. Very intrigued to see what else they come out with, and if they're going to be carrying on with that book, which is like a teaser that you get at the end. They have done another book, which is The Ruthless Lady's Guide to Wizardry, which is not a book I've read, and it also looks like they've done another one which is called Unnatural Magic, which again, I've not read. This is my first time reading from this author. I would definitely be looking at the synopses of those 2 other books to see if I want to read those. This was great. I really hope this series continues and we get more of Sherry, because she was a great character. Really enjoyed it. And just like the gang in general was really fun and entertaining, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, fantastic. So that comes in first place for this week. I want to say weekly reading vlog. It's not. This monthly cozy new releases vlog. Second place, I'm still sticking with The Little Coffee Shop of Terrors. I did still really enjoy this, and while I can say it's not as good like in terms of how it's written, in terms of plotline and stuff as this one. This was very predictable. It was still a lot of fun. Like, it was ridiculous. If you do want a book that is going to just make you laugh, make you roll your eyes at how ridiculous it all is, it's very tongue-in-cheek, then I think you would enjoy it. I also think if you do like musicals and things, I think you could really appreciate this. Again, there's one particular thing that I want to say, if you like, you'll probably find this funny because it's kind of like a spoof of it all, but I can't because that's a spoiler. But I really did enjoy it, and yes, it was very obvious from early on that this is where it was going. I still really enjoyed it. So both of these paranormal books were perfect to be reading in the month September going into October. Wait, what? Yeah, we're actually in October, so yeah. Because I'm thinking about these books came out in September, but I read this one at the end of September, this one at the start of October, so these are perfect reads for October in my opinion. So if you haven't given them a try, get them out from your library. I know this one is on Kindle at 99p, and I think this one is as well. Go check them out. They're good, they're fun, they're entertaining, they're easy reads, and very cozy. And then in last place, I do have Rewitched. And it's not because I didn't like it, because I did. I think if you are after a book that is witchy and magical and is a bit of like a self-growth book where we have our main character that is growing, is learning things about herself, accepting things about herself. There is a lot of moments where we have a lot of speeches about learning to accept yourself, believe in yourself, and all these different things, as well as a really lovely friendship story, a romance that I wasn't fully behind, to be quite honest. I think some of the conversations that the characters had I didn't fully agree with. It was good, like it was a good book, well written, a little bit slow for my taste. Other than that, like it was very good, very magical and whimsical. So yeah, I think this one again is definitely worth a read, but just third place for this video. But yeah, really pleased with the books that I have read for this video. I am loving doing this video series. If you ever do have any new cozy books that have been coming out that you haven't heard people talking about that you'd be interested in me reading, always feel free to let me know. But yeah, I am really pleased with this month's selection. I think I've chosen 3 books that haven't been spoken about as much. Rewitched has got a bit more publicity just because of the fact that the author is a YouTuber, so it's had a bit more publicity. But for both of these, I've not seen a single person reading them, talking about them, and I really do think they deserve the hype because they are such fun books. Like really enjoyed it. Yeah, this one definitely for our cozy murder mystery lovers out there, and then this one just for a fun, entertaining, hilarious, slightly silly time. Okay, make that exceptionally silly time. So I have had an amazing time with this. I hope you have enjoyed it just as much as I have enjoyed creating this video. Like, I do love this series so much. Thank you so much for watching. I cannot wait to get cracking on the next video. As I'm filming this, the next cozy new releases video is going to be starting in a couple days time because those books are being published in literally a couple days as to when I'm filming this. So I'm so excited to dive straight into those. There will be another 3 books for that cozy releases video, but I'm going to leave it there for this one. So I think in the spirit of the Village Library Demon Hunting Society, we do need to put a cat, a ginger cat specifically, in the comments below if you've made it this far or you just don't know what you'd like to comment. And genuinely thank you so much for taking the time to watch these videos, for interacting. I really enjoy it. I love being a part of this community and I love being able to create content like this, which is all thanks to you, so thank you. But if you have enjoyed this video, then please do consider giving it that thumbs up, subscribing and commenting. Those 3 things really help this channel out. My social media links and anyone I've mentioned will be linked below for you, and I will of course catch you in the very next video.